Hi, this is Lejeune with Lejeune Singleton LLC, Fitness, Health, Nutrition, and Wellness Podcast. Today, I am talking with public speaker, transitional and life coach of Rebuilding Purpose, Tiffany Boyd. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hi, everyone. Hi, thanks, June. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, can you give a background on yourself?
Sure. I'm Tiffany Boyd. I am a life purpose coach as well as a transitional life coach. I also am a certified strengths coach. I've been coaching now for a little over 4.5, almost 5 years. I started coaching in my organization, which is a global organization. They got me, extensive training, and actually became certified to do strengths coaching. At the time, I was actually also a student in school for licensed professional counseling, and I started the coaching along with the licensed professional counseling, along with wearing my hat as an IT professional. Started as, developing and then also working as a software test manager. So I've been working in IT for a little over 10 years, and I noticed that I loved working with people. I loved interacting with people. I loved getting away from the computer and actually talking with individuals.
So, how was that transition from IT into life coach? Because I know IT individuals are typically working solo. So, how was that transition for you?
I think the transition is going along really well. I'm still in transition. I also find sometimes that analytical side of me has been an asset when it comes to the new developing software that we utilize in the coaching and counseling industry. It's helped me tremendously to have that capability to click on that analytical thinking brain where I can actually figure out a software program. I can actually figure out certain things that typical, individuals that just, that are in the profession may struggle with. Working in that industry has helped me tremendously. The transition is very tedious. It's taken me a few years to fully transition. Right now, I am a full-time coach. I've transitioned completely out of the IT realm. Financially, yes, it does impact your lifestyle. I had to prepare for it. I've had tremendous support. My husband, of course, my family, everybody is supportive of me pursuing. And at the time, with my current internship that I had to complete, I could not work. My job was very high maintenance. I was traveling across, the world, going to different states and countries and gone for 2 and 3 weeks at the time. So I literally had to make a choice. I had to come up with what was the best choice for me and my family. What did I want to do? So I became kind of like I came to a fork at the road, honestly. I had to decide, would I long term, to have the career, to have, the job and the day-to-day that I would love versus just that, that paycheck, that money that sufficed me over the years. But is that what I want long term? So I had to come to that decision. And that transition, I won't say it's easy, but it has been worth it. I've worked with several clients. I've gotten several opportunities. I've just been able to get the exposure and the experience that I need because every, client is not going to always be the best client. You have to work with them. They have to get to know you, trust, all of that. So I'm learning that as well. And that experience is, it's priceless.
That's definitely true. So, what challenges have you experienced making this huge transition from IT into life coach and counseling?
I've had to remember the biggest lesson I can say for me has been to remember throughout the process my value. I've had to daily do things so that I don't mistake my value for something that is less than who I am. I noticed for several years I've placed a high banner on my chest saying, I
Mm-hmm.
work in IT, I'm in the six-figure salary range. So I
Right.
felt proud about it. I actually became, my success was, identified through my work, through my job, through my title, you know what I mean? And I had to come to grips with that and, understand and make myself know that my value went far beyond that, that corporate position that I held. It went far beyond any degree that I could ever have. Um, I just had to learn and understand my value. I had to understand what exactly, did God have for me. I'd gone after all these things myself, but what did He put in place for me? What did He want from me? And I can say it's been the best decision. Not always the easiest right now, but I can say the most rewarding has come from me making this transition.
And that's definitely important. So, what made you buckle down and decide I want to be a life coach and I want to be a counselor?
Right. I've always counseled. Most people, I think, they'll tell you, they've always coached or talked to people if they're in this
Right.
industry, right?
All right.
For me, I've always, even as a little girl, I'm trying to help my mom, you know, with a work issue. We're talking about, I'm 7 and 8 years old, giving
Right.
her suggestions, right? But as a child, I've always taken an interest in others. I've always, been that type of child that even, when I saw an individual hurting, it would almost become transferable onto me, and I ignored it for a while because, I wanted to have a career. But I always found myself caring. I always found myself like really being just wanting to be there for others. I had a coworker and we just finished talking. He went to Spain. I had to go to Malaysia. Like we were traveling. And this is when, a lot of the terrorist type stuff was going on. And we just
Mm-hmm.
talked that Friday, and that Tuesday he died. So
Oh,
for
wow.
me, experiencing this firsthand, I'm leaving my family 2 weeks. I actually became kind of the bereavement, coach or counselor within my organization. I had,
Mm.
workshops set up. Like we really had to work through a bereavement process. And it wasn't just for my coworkers, it was for his family as well. They actually wanted me to, bring their family members. And we actually, did a dedication to him, and we actually did a bereavement type ceremony for the family. So I actually orchestrated that. And that's before I even got the coaching. So now that I'm in the coaching and I'm, doing the counseling, it's all, I'm seeing where it's all coming together. You know what I mean? I'm seeing where each thing that I participated in, I see now why. I see how it's helped me. Even my, educational background, with the master's in management and, the IT stuff, just knowing and understanding how things work, looking for the connectivity in different things. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that it has helped me because in my thought process, I believe everything is for a purpose and reason. So even if I didn't use it back then, I'm using it now. And I just love the fact that I'm able to be impactful, even if I just listen. I love the fact that I'm able to be there and help others and just, cheer them along the way, because everybody has a journey. We're not all at the same stages and
Right.
places, but everybody has a place that they should be working toward. And I'm just happy to be included in that, in that process for others and myself.
And what is Revealing Purpose mission?
Right. Our mission, Revealing Purpose, our mission is to accompany our clients on their journey to overall self and purpose. So everybody, as I said, has, a place to go. They have something that they're working toward. So I just really feel it's important to accompany them, come alongside them, cheer them on, make them accountable, help them to see realistically what is in front of them, and then also what are they trying to accomplish and do, and then making that, meeting those two together so that they can accomplish those goals and live the life of their dreams.
And what target population do you serve?
My target population are for any hardworking individuals that are seeking change, any individuals that are seeking to understand their underlying purpose and how they can bring along those changes along with those purposes that they're seeking, and just make that infiltration inside of their lives. You know, not checking a box, but individuals that are truly seeking to change their lives, individuals that are truly seeking how they can reach higher levels in their lives and understand their value, you know, understanding through love and positivity, through their strengths. As a strengths coach, I also believe in that wholeheartedly. It's so important to know and understand what your strengths are. So my ideal clients are those who are interested in knowing that, who want to, you know, really flourish that and make that grow and develop that so that they can become better and just grow in the direction that they are wanting to grow into and go into.
Okay. And can you break down the differences of strength coach, transitional life coach, and how counseling all comes into play? Because, you know, most people may not understand the difference in all of them. So can you give a breakdown on that?
Sure, sure. I believe strengths coach, when I look at strengths coach, I look at it as an umbrella, right? Strengths coach can go across any of these areas, right? Because we all have strengths. It's kind of our foundational level. So before I get a client, the first thing I want to do is I want to be aware of their strengths. I want to give them the assessment. I want to talk with them about how their strengths are actually playing in their lives right now. So strengths coach is the overall umbrella. It's going to break up, show us the talent, show us the strengths, show us the areas that that person may not have ever even tapped into, just so that they can understand, have a more clear understanding of who they are, what they can do, and also, you know, maybe you see yourself in a particular way, but maybe that's not your strong suit. Maybe these are your strong suits. And utilizing AI, artificial intelligence, which is what strengths coaching and that assessment is based off of. It's not just answering questions. There's a strategic approach about that entire test and that assessment, and it helps to break down the foundational elements of your true self. You know, who you really are, what your strengths truly are. So strengths is kind of the overall, I would say, transportation route that I take with all clients. The transitional coaching, a lot of my clients are moving from retirement. They're moving from their jobs to retirement. They're transitioning in life. They're moving through divorce. They're trying to deal with, you know, being a single parent, you know, death. They've had some, you know, bereavement issues where they're working. So I would say that coaching would be available for those individuals that are seeking to transition and make those life-lasting changes in life. The life purpose coaching, that is also just another layer. It also helps individuals to discover their value, uncover, you know, who they are again, helping them to just develop so that they can be their best selves. And, you know, those are kind of the three areas, you know, the strengths coaching, the life purpose coaching, as well as the strength coaching, the life purpose coaching, and then the transitional coaching. Those are the three areas that I actually provide. Now, when an individual comes and they have, you know, trauma, they have things that they're dealing with, you know, PTSD, they have issues that they're dealing with, you know, even children, behavioral modification type
Right.
counseling. I provide that as well. PRS, you know, you have these children who are wanting and needing to learn how do they become the adult that they need to be. You know, they're transitioning, but they also need counseling. Maybe they've had trauma or they've had some deep issues in their life. That is where that counseling would come into play. And the whole goal is to meet the client. My goal is to meet the client on their journey, right, to their overall self. So wherever they're going, whatever they're dealing with, some people may need coaching and counseling. So it just depends on that person and what that need is.
Okay. And what can a potential client expect when they come in to start services with you? Is there an assessment or how does the process work?
Right. I have basically a coaching assessment document. Usually I take that over the phone and I talk to the client. I, ask them kind of the background information questions to kind of get to know them, get to know their need, kind of assess and see where they are, and then I also ask them, I talk with them and I ask them, what exactly would you, what are your expectations from these services? Because I want them to freely just speak about what their needs are, what they need. And then I let them explain to me what their needs are. And then I explain to them the services, the different services that I provide. But I allow them to tell me what services they need. And then at the end, before we're done, I want them to understand what they can expect. Because lots of times, people will say, well, I need this, I need that. And then people will say, well, I can provide you with those. But I also want to leave them with milestones and expectations that they can expect from me, things that they can expect to gain from the services, what my commitment is to the actual client. So I give them, what my commitment is. I have a commitment document. We talk about scheduling. We talk about pricing. We come to an agreement. And then if there is, an okay to move forward, those documents are sent to the client. We're doing scheduling with, the scheduling link, and then we start services. I have an office here. I live in Greenville, South Carolina, so I have an actual physical office. I'm in my kitchen today, but I have a physical office, and then we actually meet there or we meet online. It just depends on the client.
And I'm sure you get clients that come to you and they're expecting you to give advice or tell them what they need to do. What's the outcome of that, and how does that conversation look?
Right. I am not, even as a counselor, I believe that you have to be very careful with that. I believe when you're given an individual counseling or coaching, you have to lead them to, the techniques, lead them to things that they can do, to help them with where they're trying to go. But I do believe that they need to come to a form of just like they have to give themselves, the permission, I would say, to come to their own realization. Now, if I have a client and they are not able to make a decision, they're inconsistent, they're, undecisive, they can't decide, I will put, if this does not occur, we will go down this road. These are some of the negative things that can occur. I try to make it very crystal clear for them, and I help them, and I say, well, if you choose this option, maybe this could be an outcome. Would you be willing to try this particular thing to see if it could assist you or be helpful? And along the way, I'm constantly, trying to see how they feel about it, because if a person is told what to do, I'm a firm believer that they 9 times out of 10 won't continue. They have to believe it. They have to buy into it, and they have to know and understand that this is for their benefit and for their good. And they have to want to do it. They have to want, they may not love it, but they have to at least want it and see the desire and need to change what they're currently doing.
And I think it also helps to give them that self-confidence to learn how to make decisions on their own, even if it's good or bad, that they can be okay with whatever the outcome is and grow from that. So I think that's definitely important.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, because the thing is, it's not just changing habits or changing behaviors. We want sustainability. We want them to be accountable. We want them to maintain, and just continue to grow, right? So in my mind, I believe it helps. Like you said, it builds their confidence. It allows them to make those decisions. I tell my 12-year-old, I may not be there all the time. You're going to have to make these choices and decisions. So it helps to build that. So definitely, I agree.
And how long is your program, and when it's over, if clients still need help, are they able to come back for assistance? How does that look?
Right. Yeah, I have 2 programs right now. I have 2 tracks that I've built out. One is for the life purpose coaching, one is for the transitional coaching. So there are two separate tracks. Each track or each program consists of 8 weeks. It's an 8-week program. I've had clients say, okay, well, I can't fully commit to a full 8-week. I've had clients say, let me do the first 4. What usually happens is they'll come back and they will want to finish the remaining 4 weeks. I've also had clients that wanted just one-on-one, where they felt they did not want to jump into a complete 8-week program. So they would do just one-on-one coaching. I do both. I do all 3. I do one-on-one coaching, the 8-week program, as well as group facilitations. Right now I'm working with some of the centers here, and we're actually working on some group programs because there are lots of grants, and so they're needing services, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I've been working on, but they are, with access to me, they have my scheduling line, and all the programs include one-on-one coaching as well. So there's always an open door. What I will probably do, if I had a client and they just wanted to kind of keep things going, I'll set up, a plan with them where they can still have services, maybe do 2 additional one-on-one coaching sessions or 1 a month, where I check in and where I, check their accountability and kind of run through some things with them to see where they are with their, I call it their blueprint. So where are they with completing that blueprint? So I do like checking in and just kind of getting testimonials and just finding out what and how effective has this program been for you. And I've gotten like 5 so far, and then I had like some others that I've been helping along the way, but those 5 were participants in the 8-week, and it seemed to work really well because it has its own kind of built-in maintenance plan. And then they actually are able to keep up with their own results. And then if they need me, they can schedule and we can go from there.
And I do think, when it comes to coaching, people start to, in the first few weeks, they start to feel like, okay, well, I got it now and I'm good and I don't need this anymore. But when those roadblocks hit, that's definitely an issue because, you've only gotten a taste of what can help you, but you didn't get the whole plan of what could help you. And that part becomes scary. Especially for anyone, if you need tools, get all the tools. Don't just stop at the first couple of weeks.
Exactly. And I'm an advocate for completing things. I'm big on whatever I start, I have to finish it. And I always tell my clients, the biggest satisfaction is not in just completing it, but actually taking it and utilizing it. So you can't fully utilize it if you've not fully completed it. There are things that you will miss if you don't fully complete it, but that application for me is everything. It's so important, because we have to know how to apply it, when to apply it, what to apply, and if you're doing a program, I tell all clients, let's do the program. Let's complete the program. Even if they're having, financial issues, some of them, I'll say, okay, let's do a payment plan. Let's figure out what and how it will work best for you, but I don't want you to stop the program, and I'm kind of like that voice probably beside them saying, let's go, keep going, kind of like your clients, you're doing your coaching for your thing, it really does help to have someone just sometimes get in your ear and say, look, you're not going to stop because this is for you. This will help you. It's helped me. And I want to do the same for you. So I'm not just dedicated to selling the program. I'm dedicated to the change, and I'm dedicated to them gaining and, getting their lives in a place where they can sustain, and be proud of what they're doing,
And I think that's definitely important. Even with my clients, I, express to them, hey, if you can go to a restaurant and drive through to pick up food, you can find a way to afford any service or anything that you need or want, but you have to be ready for that change because it's not, you can buy clothes, shoes, whatever. You find money for unnecessary stuff, but
yes.
this coaching stuff is definitely necessary when it comes to mindset, because you look at how many people during this time and even before the pandemic that's dealing with grief, depression,
Right, right,
stress, worrying, frustration, the list goes on, overeating because we're in the house all day, we stressed out, we don't know when we're gonna, the
exactly.
world's gonna open back up. So during this time, coaching is definitely important because you don't want to get in that negative mindset of I'm never getting out the house. Okay,
Right,
you're right. You said you're not gonna get out the house.
right,
So I think those things are important, especially what you're doing is important because you have a lot of umbrellas under one that's helping people, and that's important.
right. Yeah, and I believe, like I said, in the connectivity, like whatever we've learned, whatever we've gained, sometimes some people cut things off and they say, okay, I'm doing this now, I can't do that. Well, I
Right.
don't necessarily believe that. I believe that sometimes we have to find other ways to use it, but I do believe everything we've gained and we've, learned in life, we're able to utilize it. We may have to utilize it later. We may be able to utilize it in conjunction with what we're doing now. It just all depends on what the need is and finding the connectivity, finding how do you bring those things together, and I just believe that people, lots of times they don't even understand and know their full capability because they've limited themselves for so long. They've lived based on how my mom did it or how my dad, or how
Right.
my sister and brother, did things. And they've never made their own place in life based on who they are and what they have inside of them. So I'm all about unlocking that potential, helping individuals to see there's more than one way to do things. There's all types of things that you can use that are out here to help you. And there are people, so you're not by yourself. I believe that people have to believe that they have support. They need to have individuals that can support them, and it's not always a family member. But knowing that there is support out there is a huge asset. And you really can see an individual grow. Like I had one client, and he's been, he's had 7 or 8 different homes that he's, worked in, been in. He's a foster child, but we've worked together all summer. We're still working together, and I've seen him terminate goals. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how is this child able to do it? But we have adults out here that struggle. And I just truly believe it's mindset. I truly believe it's lack of support, and I believe if we are able to change individuals' minds more and get into what they're thinking, what is that internal dialogue, that they're telling themselves, and just help them cultivate and change that, and then help them, with being that support, I believe we'll see people, making huge drastic changes in their lives.
And I do agree when you talk about support because I think people are so used to turning to family for
Mhm.
support, but family can't always give support because family doesn't know what it looks like because
Right.
they've been operating from generation to generation the same way.
Mhm.
So things change, and it's that concern. I'm sure you get that where they come to you and they're like, well, my family's not really supporting me because they're saying I'm acting brand new and things like that. How do you provide that support and address that to continue to encourage them that they're on the right path?
Right. Yeah, I'm always wondering when I get a client, my first thought, I want to know where they come from. I want to know what their upbringing, consisted of. What have they been told all their lives? Because that's their belief system. I'm interested in their belief system. I'm interested in learning and knowing what was the norm for that person. What and how did they grow up? Because when I look at individuals and they have that thought, well, so and so thinks that I'm acting, different, or so and so, and I want to know, well, what do you think? And where are you trying to go? What are your plans? How do you view your life? Because if that individual has that much impact, honestly, are you really dedicated to becoming better? Because if an individual is not interested in seeing you become better or do better or just improve your overall life, is that your real support? Are they truly representing support for you? So just really helping an individual recognize what that looks like, because, we've all had individuals in our lives for years, and then later on down the line, we found out that person isn't who I thought they were, Right. You may get a new job, get, a really nice home, whatever the case, and then you see individuals and they're acting different with you. Your yes isn't yes anymore. People act different, they show you different, things, when you go against what they want sometimes. So my goal is, what do you want? Who are you seeking to become? What are you seeking to do? And let me help you get there. And the first thought is, what's your belief system and what is that internal dialogue? Because if that internal dialogue is built upon those people that have told you negative things, or those people that are seeking to not be supportive, first we have to get that changed. We have to change that mindset. We have to change that negativity that you're telling yourself based on those others that you've connected with over the years that have been in that same place. Because if we don't, when something tough happens and occurs, people tend to go back to that negative place. They go back to that place where it's most comfortable. They revert back there. So my goal is to help individuals kind of set a new playing field, really understand what are their strengths, what do they have that, regardless, no one can ever take from you. These are yours. Let's hone them, let's grow them and develop them, so that we can actually work on your goals. So that's kind of where and how I deal with that. That information, like a person says, I'm dealing with people looking at me this way or thinking of me in that manner. I want to really get them strong and build them up so that we can really get some playing ground to work on.
And as you mentioned, you have a lot of umbrellas under careers. So how do you balance all your jobs and career, family, and time for yourself?
Yeah. I would say that's probably been the thing I didn't do. I've done it so long, LaJune. I've been on go for so long, and I am finally learning how to quiet my brain. I'm an analytical, strategic person, so I'm always thinking of planning stuff and figuring stuff out. I'm the family reunion person,
Right.
And organizing stuff. I'm learning now. My husband took me to that salt cave. I walk every day. I get up in the morning. Now that I'm not physically in a office at 8 o'clock, 7:30, I get up. Me and my dog and I, we go for a walk. I'm adding on to my regimen, even in that. I'm trying to eat better. That's another thing. When you're working all the time on go, you just grab stuff. Well, now when I go to Sam's or Costco or whatever, I try to, fill my house up with good, healthy snacks and stuff so that I'm not just grabbing the wrong things. So walking, having a good, making sure my body is intact. I may go upstairs and do some elliptical or do some, arm raises and squats. I'm just learning how to take care of myself in that aspect, physically, eating better. I did a meditation about a week ago. It was really helpful for me. I did a 21-day meditation prior, very helpful. I'm learning how to slow my mind down. I'm learning how to relax. I've even gone down to the soap. So my husband finds the soap. I have to send you the name of it, but it has goat milk, shea butter, and some form of lavender.
Oh, wow. And
I sleep like I've never slept in my life. Like when I tell you it's the most, I think I take 2 or 3 showers. 3 showers.
Wow.
And I'll get caught up in there, but it's so relaxing. And when I lie down and I, say my prayers or whatever, I'm done. And I would stay up. I would not sleep that well. You know what I mean? So I'm just finding and learning what and how to, like you said, do and make sure I do that self-care. It's very hard, mom, this whole schooling from home. Today is his day to be at school. I'm so thankful. But it's hard, but I do find it rewarding. I do find it to be satisfying because for what I'm gaining, I've never felt this way in my life. I've never had anyone to say, Tiffany, pursue what you're trying to do. And, we're going to work together. We're going to get what we need to get done, and I have support. My husband has been great. He's been so supportive, so great, and I just see things, really happening in a great positive way. And I worry a lot. So that anxiety is coming down. At my previous jobs, I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. I was on medication, having to get gallbladders removed, surgeries.
Oh, wow.
So I find myself now in a place of just solitude. Like I am at my best. And I know it's going to only get better, but I feel the best that, as I felt in years. I've never felt like this in over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So, my parents, they're not here in my city. They're like a few cities over, but just having support, people that aren't my family, but I can call them. I can look to them to give me an encouraging word. It just matters. It means everything. And I just feel that knowing that you're doing something and you love it, it just truly matters. It matters to love what you do. It matters to love, your circle and love other people and give back. I love giving and doing for other people too. So that's just also been just a growth experience. Now I actually get to do it. Now I get to work with these children. I get to work with these adults and I see them needing it and I see, what they need. I do needs assessments to kind of find out what their needs are. And then I go in, I dig in, and I just start to kind of put content together to help them. So it's been great.
And what you touched on is pretty much 99% of women in America is work, work, work. We're trying to accomplish so much.
Yes.
And we're overwhelmed. And I'm hearing so much about many women that are suffering from anxiety and having panic attacks. And they take, okay, and pills, we all know there are side effects to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And health risks to them. So, and I think people felt so guilty for years when it came to self-care and what it looked like because it felt like I'm being selfish, and it's not being selfish. It's you regrouping, renewing yourself at that moment and coming back being the best mom, the best wife, the best daughter, the best friend, the best employee, because that's what's needed. That's the purpose of taking a vacation. That's
right.
Self-care.
That's right. And that reset is everything. Without it, I promise you, at some point your body's going to break down.
Yes.
Your physical body will not be able to physically do things at the extent that it's been working and doing. And it will break down. And, I believe that that's a huge reason that, so many people are, getting all these different diseases and, all these different things going on inside their bodies because of the stress, because of the work, because of the lack of reset. There's nothing resetting that internal being, that body, and they're just on go constantly. And that's pretty much been my life. That's been my life, my whole life, honestly.
And definitely, that is definitely the thing, because for me, for years, jobs I had were stressful. I worked in mental health, I worked in public health, and I would get sick literally every week because I was so stressed out. And it was too much.
Wow.
So that definitely makes sense.
Wow.
So what advice would you give other people who want to become a life coach, a counselor? What advice would you give?
I would say what they are interested in as far as within the coaching realm, because there's so many different areas for coaching. It has to resonate with them. It has to be where they can see themselves personally able to create a program or create services around something that's dear to them. I found that transitional coaching, transitional life coaching, as well as life purpose coaching, was something that was very, very, very dear to me. Personal story, when I first moved here, got my job, I was overly qualified for my job. And I got a lot of, what are you doing in that role? What are you doing in that position? How old are you? Oh, what are you doing with that house? What are you doing with that car? Like, I got a lot of that stuff. And I started to feel, going to that job every day, proving myself over and over. I'm in these different countries. I don't speak the language, but I'm giving them the services. I'm providing them. I found that my self-esteem, my self-worth, my self-value started to go down because I constantly felt like I had to meet a mark. It was this mark. And as soon as I met the mark, the bar got, the bar was raised. So I never fully, I did meet the mark. I did great, work, but I never fully reached the mark because as soon as I reached it, the bar was raised. And it was raised, with some, crazy, expectations and all that. But I just found that I had to understand what out of life did I need. My view of myself, my perception of myself was in the dumps. It was terrible. And I had a counselor sit me down and she went through, all the things I loved about myself. And then she made me list on the other side the things that I hated about myself. And that's where the work began. I had to work on me. I had to work on building. I had to work on value. I had to work on that transition, what that looked like. How was I going to get through day to day? So transitional life coaching and life purpose coaching was kind of like my thing. I love it. I love change. I love, starting something. I love seeing it through to the end, and enduring through all the hard stuff, getting to that end. But I also like reflection. So I enjoy reflecting, looking back, thinking of the times when I, first started that process and seeing it work, seeing individuals being impacted. So I would just say, make sure whatever it is that you're seeking to do as a life coach, you're impactful, it drives you, it helps others, and it's something that you're passionate and it resonates with something inside of you.
And how can someone reach you for services?
Right, I have a website. You can reach me at revealingpurposelcs.com. Go on that website, select that scheduling link, and just put in the date and time, your name, and your number, and then I'll just, meet with you based on that scheduling date and time that is chosen. I have an office, as I said, here in Greenville at 501 Malden Road. And it's also available on the website, so you can just see all of my information there. I'm available on Facebook as well and Instagram under Revealing Purpose.
Okay. All right, Tiffany, thank you for your time. What you are doing is very, very, very powerful, and is definitely something that's needed in the community. So I thank you for offering that to the community, your community in South Carolina and all around, because it is definitely needed, especially during this time. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, LaJune. I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. And till next time, we will have you back next year, because I'm sure it's going to be bigger and better things, a book or something.
Thank you. We'll just keep praying. Thanks, LaJune. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.